Next, I need to add another row below this column play flip. I again drag a row under the layout of add components into the screen like this. Now you can see that the row was added in column play flip itself. Let's remove this row from here and add it below from column play flip. First, I drag this row up from the column play flip like this. Okay. Now the column play flip has been removed and the row has been added to the top. Now click on the arrow in front of column play flip and minimize column play flip. Again, the row is dragged down from the column play flip like this. Okay. Now I click the rename button from the properties here and rename the row as row 1 flip. Next, we add a column to row 1 flip like this. I drag a column under the layout of add components into row 1 flip like this. Okay. You can see that a column called column 1 has been added like this. Now let's add an image and a button to this column. First, I drag a button in the user interface section in add components into column 1 like this. Now let's change the properties of this button as we want. Now click the rename button in front of button 1 and change the name of the button to flip 1. I type as flip 1 here. Next, let's remove the text of the button. The code for the background color is given as 0018FF. Next, let's change the size. Select the absolute size for the height of the button and give a value of 100. In the same way, let's select absolute size for width and give a value of 100. Now let's add a background picture to this button. Here, I click the box below the background picture and select the tap.png image. Also, let's select center for the background picture resize mode. Next, drag an image under the image of the add component into column 1. We will not rename this image, but let's select absolute size for height and set it as 80, and for width, select absolute size and set it as 80. We do not add a picture for this. Again, in row 1 flip, we need to add a column with a button and an image in the same way. For that, we can duplicate the created column 1. I select column 1 from here and click the duplicate button on the right side of the rename button in the properties. Let's click on duplicate from here again. Okay. Now another column called column 2 was added to row 1 flip like the column 1. For this game, we need to add 2 more rows as well as row 1 flip. So let's duplicate row 1 flip. I select row 1 flip from the box showing components and click the duplicate button. Let's select duplicate from here again. As you can see, another row was added called row 1 flip 1, which includes 2 columns as column 3 and column 4. I select this row and rename it as row 2 flip. Let's type row 2 flip here. There is no need to rename the remaining components. We need another row like this. So let's flip duplicate row 1 again. I click on the duplicate button here and give a duplicate. Okay, let's rename this newly received row as row 3 flip.